there we are. Welcome to Tuesday. Welcome back to Tuesday, and good to see so many people in the chat. Welcome, everyone. Wow, it's been quite the week. I have to just put a little shout out into the amazing community that we have on Discord, which Discord's down right at this second, apparently. But if you are not on the Discord, do check that out. There is a link in the description, I believe, somewhere for it. And yeah, we've been having some amazing conversations over the past week. I can't even keep up with them all. It's fantastic. So kudos to everyone for that. And we have a really fun project actually being planned on the Discord, which is that. So okay, I'll probably just explain it in the broad strokes. So what's going on is we're setting up two kind of teams, and we're gonna play something like let's stump Colin, colon historical linguistics edition. And so the idea is each one of these teams is going to put together a group of related languages, and then on stream I will, with the help of the other team, try to work out what the proto-language will be. And then we'll do it for one team's proto-language first, and then the next month we'll do it for the second team's proto-language. So if you have any interest in that, do head over to the Discord when it comes back online. Poor Discord. I can't imagine what what their office is like right now. Must be chaotic. And yes, so the first one is going to be on the 29th of March. We're going to do the first one, and then the second one is going to be sometime in April. Date exactly to be determined, but it's going to be next month. So yes, so if the way to join is just go onto the Discord and ping Lucy, and she'll set you up with access to the secret channel, which I have not looked at. I promise I won't look. I'll just say mark as read. No peeking, because that would spoil the fun. So that's the plan there. And what else? Oh yeah, what's the plan today? Today, I think what we should do is return to our Analytic family, which we still don't have a name for yet. I'm waiting on the YouTube community tab, which I think we have now. I think we just got it today. So I'm going to put out a little poll, and we can name this family. And then we'll have a proper name for it. But right now I'm just calling it the Analytic language family. And so we're going to be working on the proto-language again. We're going to be finishing our North Wind and the Sun Fable. And then we'll see how that does us for time. I think we will have time left over after that because it's mostly done, 2/3 or so. And then after that, we will do, I think we should do some more one-off proverbs in this language to kind of beef up the basic vocabulary and start to establish some kind of wide semantic fields for some basic concepts. So I think this could be a little bit of fun, shading into a bit of con-worlding maybe as we start to develop some aspects of whatever the culture of the speakers of this proto-language might have been. And yeah, I think that's that. So I'll do the little YouTube bit, and then we'll just jump in. Hello, YouTube. Welcome back. We are going back into our as yet unnamed language family. I think we're just calling it the isolating or analytic language family for now. And we're going to continue our translation of the fable, The North Wind and the Sun. So if that sounds like your kind of thing, stay tuned. We're about to get started. And away we go. So let's see. Let me just increase the size on this here. Maybe not that big. And then I'll read out what we have of the fable so far. Maybe move this around. There we go. Not that far. There we go. Super. All right. So the North Wind and the Sun, or in this proto-language, we can call it Tutanpana Mare. Oops. There we go. And the story goes like this. The North Wind and the Sun had an argument. Tutanpana Mare la Kiris. They disputed which was the most powerful. Kiris beda ahung isun que nok temen. They agreed that the one who could first strip a traveler of his clothes would be considered the victor. Drurusad da apidru pui tuar nlestra aroban tron agirak. The north wind first tried his power and blew with all his might. Tutanpana pidru nom nok nisun huhu. But the keener his blasts, the closer the traveler wrapped his cloak around him. Huhu que hungisun aroban que nom batek taler nis. At last, resigning all hope of victory, the wind called upon the sun to see what he could do. Pana bakal yapklat noktuan irakut rekra puis ramen. That's where we are so far. So we've got a little bit more to do, and onwards. Wurstschädel. I hope we're not seeing static images here. Let me know. Just write in the chat if there are any technical difficulties. We messed a lot. Okay, I'll just go back and tell you a little story. Lucy and I messed a lot with the various settings over the past week to try and fix the issue of chats not appearing. And whether or not that was successful, I have some doubts. But there may have been some changes as a result of all the things we tried to do to fix things. So if there are, okay, I do see chats appearing, so that's a thumbs up to that. So if there are any problems, please just don't be shy. Let us know, and we'll try and fix them. So that's a little story. And by the way, it's an adventure. It's an adventure setting this stuff up. But okay, we'll go back to the matter at hand here. Okay, so what are we going to do? Let's do a little gloss of this sentence here. The sun suddenly shone out with all his warmth. Okay. Something like what we do here. Sun shine. I believe we are. Oh yeah, we do have a past. We do have past. I made a promise in Discord that one of these languages in this family is going to have 0 tense marking and 0 aspect marking, but it's not the Proto-Language. So the sun, past, shine. Shone out with all his warmth. Seems a bit English. Let's do something like use all hot or heat. Past shine. Okay, so what do we have for this? We have a word for sun, which is re. Bit of a shout out to Egyptian there. We have a word for use, I believe. It is nom. And re, nom, all. I think we have all. We have nom, nok, right. I think we're going to need a word for heat. So let's just write heat here. And then la. La is our past tense morpheme. And then we need something for shine. Okay. Excellent. Cool. Hey, when things are magically fixed, that's always a joy. All right, let's continue. So we need forms for hot or heat, and shine. Okay, so let's see what we have here. Do we have anything like that already? I don't think so. And shine, maybe bright. No. Okay, so we need new roots. And let's go down here. We have some ideas here. I think we had something like ljapklat for give up, surrender. Ljapklat. Put that in there. Not sure. Oh yeah, we already have. It's already up here, guys. Come on, what's going on? Okay, so let's get ourselves some new word forms. We have this nice big, here I'll make it appropriately sized. We have a nice big paragraph of forms, phonological forms for this language, which we can just sort of dip into and take things from as we wish. So we need something for heat and something for shine. I think we haven't used tuar yet, if I'm not mistaken. So maybe this could be heat. And shine, let's see, do we have anything that looks shiny? I feel like this should have an E or something in it. I don't know. Do something like nrit. Oops. Yeah, nrit is nice. So then this sentence would be re nom noctuar. Sorry, let me intone that properly. Re nom noctuar lanrit. Not bad. Okay. Oh boy, this next sentence is going to be something. Oh, but first, before I go on, documentation, please. Hot, heat, toir, and shine, nrit. Okay. Don't know what we're going to do with these yet. We need forms for them, but we haven't been forced to do it, so we'll leave that as is so far. Oh, Rising Rose, thank you. You reminded me to hydrate and stretch. I gotta take my own advice here. Refreshing. The traveler no sooner felt his genial rays than he took off one garment after another. Oh, this is going to be a brutal one to translate. All right, what's the core of this sentence? The traveler took off garments one by one. So maybe we can rephrase it. I'm going to do an extra line of the translation for this one because it's just so idiomatic English that I'd like it to be a bit less so. So the traveler, instead of saying no sooner, as soon as the traveler felt the sun's rays, he took off garments one by one. I think this is going to be an easier starting point for us to translate. Raven asks, in the sentence re nom noctuar lanrit, the main verb is nrit, shine. We have here a coverb situation where we're having verbs being used sort of like it's a serial verb construction almost, where the previous verbs are being used more adverbially. So you could think of it, you could translate it as the sun used all heat and shone, or the sun using all heat shone, something like that. All right. Let's continue then. So we need something for as soon as. Soon as the traveler, we have we're using a headless relative clause aroban. The one who travels. Can probably put this up here. So soon as relative travel. I really wish it would stop. I really wish it would stop making these links. Anyway. Boom. Goodbye. Goodbye links. The blue remains. I don't know why. Okay. So as soon as the traveler, then something like feel, victory, ray, sun. We have this order where the thing possessed, the possessum, is first, and then the possessor is second. So we have that here in hope of victory. The wind, in the end, gave up all hope victory, meaning hope of victory. Okay, so we have that. As soon as the traveler felt the sun's rays, something like take off clothes one by one. And maybe this adverb should be here. Okay, so we need something for feel, ray, sun. Oh no, we have ray. Then we need something for one by one. Take off. I don't think we have anything like that. And clothes we do have, which is, I believe, less. Let's see if we have it up here. Yeah, we do. Oh, we do have takeoff. We have remove toar. Okay. So, one by one, toar, less. And I just realized that we have toar being used for heat and for remove. And I don't mind. I don't mind. Okay, let's see. I missed some things in the chat. Oh, I missed a lot of things in the chat. Welcome, everyone. Converb or coverb. Okay, now you're making me wonder. The way that it's, I think, usually talked about in sort of in Chinese linguistics is coverb. A converb would be something more like you'd have in Korean, where you'd have some sort of like an ending with participial force. We might have to look this up because that's a good question. Okay, so yes, Gregory, we do have a homophonous pair of roots, but I find that okay. Weirdly, like I think maybe this could be something that one of the descendant languages takes issue with and innovates a new root to remove this homophony. But I think we can have homophony and still be relatively naturalistic. Heaven knows natural languages do not hate homophony in general. Yeah, let's go for some official definitions, because I wanna get the real story about this converb versus coverb thing. So, converb. Because we're pros, we use Wikipedia for our definitions, right? Okay, so converbs. Okay. I think I was correct. Converbs are non-finite verb forms that express adverbial subordination. Things like when, because, after, while. So you'll see this. Actually, we use converbs extensively in the Gal languages. Coverbs are things that function more like a serial verb construction. So let's go over here to coverbs and see if we get any examples. Okay, we have one in Mandarin. 我帮你找他. I help you find him. Where help you is a kind of like a benefactive meaning. And okay, so that I think digression ended because there's some more interesting stuff coming up. Yeah, Zachary, I think you're correct. And then Raven, if use all heat is the main verb, shouldn't the past marker precede it? No, use all heat is not the main verb. Shine is the main verb. This use all heat is less main. So for that reason, I'm leaning away from putting the marker on that clause. But I think Raven is correct that it should be heat all. So because wait, I have to just double check. What did we have? We didn't actually say what we have for adjectives, do we? Do we? I don't think we have any adjective noun situations going on here. I guess arguably our compounds are right-headed. We might need to go to walls. Do we want to do that now? Yeah, let's do it now. Adverbs. Okay, let's just, sorry, adjectives. Order of adjective and noun. And then let's add this with verb, object, There we go. Let's see what we have. I have a weird sensation that we've done this already. I'm not sure. I don't remember it though, so could be helpful. Okay, so we have VO noun adjective, VO adjective noun. So if we're being typical, we should do noun adjective. I'm not sure if this is going to affect the headedness of the compounds like north wind. Let's put that aside for now. And let's put heat all. So use heat all, and then we have also use all power, should be use power all. So nom nisun nok. Okay, I like it. Teamwork. Lucy, I don't know if you want to. You could use that for the intro or something. Okay. Okay, so where were we? I believe we were. Yeah, Raven, this is what I'm wondering. Because is north effectively an adjective? I'm trying to think to an example of a language that has VO and noun adjective, but then they have noun compounds. Are they right-headed or left-headed? So do we have things like north wind or wind north in languages where there are compounds? Inferidamus, if I'm getting the stress right on that, it is a genitive, as Ship Combo points out. So that's going to go to the right, because we have, in our little grammar sketch, we have, I think, did we say? No, but I remember that we have possessum, possessor. So the possessum is the thing that's possessed. So in here, hope of victory. Hope is the possessum. Victory is the possessor. And using that argument, we could that's another argument in favor of wind north, isn't it? Okay, I think I'm ready to surrender on wind north, and let's just do it. So instead of tutan pana, we have pana tutan. Because there's, whether you interpret it as an adjective, whether you interpret it as a genitive, it's going to be on the right. So I think we're without any ability to argue against that. Okay, so then north wind to wind north. Panatutan. And anything else? I don't think so. Okay. All right. So then let's continue. We need something like as soon as. Yeah, it's basically like I had an initial party. So let's keep it going. Let's keep the party going. As soon as the traveler felt the rays of the sun. Okay, so we need a word for ray. And here let's indulge in some fun semantic some fun semantics. So I think instead of having a word for ray, specifically of light, we could say something like ray, dart, arrow, something like that. So we have a fairly broad concept of any kind of missile. So we need a word for that. We need a word for feel. And then we need this sort of as soon as. And I'm not sure what we're going to do with that. Yeah, I'm not sure what we're going to do with that. And then we need a one-by-one adverbial. Okay, so yeah, thinking of the sun's heat as kind of things that are thrown at people. This is a kind of, I don't know, kind of folk concept of things like vision as well, like the idea of being able to stare daggers at people, or Superman having these beams that shoot out of his eyes to see something, when in reality vision kind of works the opposite way when things come to our eyes. But I like this idea of enshrining that kind of folk concept in the lexicon. So we have this idea of a dart or a weapon of some kind that you throw, and the sun's rays are the same kind of thing, just transposed to a different metaphorical domain. So we need a word for that. We need a word for feel. And I'm not sure what to do with these, this as soon as. I think we had... At the time, yeah, we could use something like at the time that that gives us sort of more of a when idea. Maybe we could do something like when blah 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 immediately blah blah blah. Yeah, so maybe it would be something like a moment immediately. So let's pause that because we're getting some good phonological forms in here. What about bavur for the ray? Let's take a look at our inventory here. I don't know if we don't have a V, but we could do something like bavur, and that would work. So why don't we do that? Bavur for ray. So we have bavur, re. And as soon as, so I think we need something like time or moment to build this from. Maybe we could do something like, maybe we could do something like at the time this happened, immediately, or at once this other thing happened. So we could use, maybe we could use our root 1 that we have, I believe, somewhere around here. Let's take a look. Yeah, te. Oh, and through. These are different notions of one. So this is one like the pro form, that where you say, oh, the green one, the blue one, this kind of thing. And dru is the numeral 1. So maybe we can do something like, maybe we can do reduplication, like dru, 1 by 1. And, oh, Raven's coming in with some inspiration from Thai. This is great. So we can, so Thai works by saying something like in time, moment, and then lock. I guess that's a locative. Okay. Let's take some inspiration here. So we need for we need a word for moment. Let's say this is like moment, and oh, I saw something coming in for feel. So let's put that in, pibrun. That's great. And I should probably get the, if anyone's curious, they want to play along, the syllable structures here. So pibrun is for feel. Yeah, Thai has noun classifiers. I think maybe we should avoid that to prevent us from going too far into the relex, or from being too tempted. Maybe we can develop some in one of the descendant languages. Okay, so moment. We need moment. I'm going to maybe something like tecal. That could work. Tecal. And how did we do this? So I'm just reading Raven's comment again. So as soon as is something like in time moment, locative. A sneeze. Zachary, you're onto something here. What if this is originally the verb to sneeze? Although if it's a verb to sneeze, we'd expect something more onomatopoeic. But maybe not. Tekal. Maybe, you could think of that as a sneeze, right? Tekal. I don't know. Could work. And then from this construction of, in a sneeze, such and such happened, we get this word for the use of moment. Sure, why not? Okay, so let's see. And Raven, question about this in time moment locative. Is in time the meaning like something happened just in time? Is that the kind of meaning of in time that you're thinking of? Let's while we're pondering these matters, let's add some of these new words in. Ooh. If you could just get into the right spot, that would be super. So pibrun, and one by one we could use something like this reduplicated drudru. And to be in time for something. Okay, so let's come up with a root for that, because I like that idea. Sneeze. Tekal. Gesundheit. All right, so in time. So what could we use here? Let's go back to our big list. In time. Maybe something like moal. That could work. Moal tekal. And so as soon as we will translate as moal tekal. In time for a sneeze. And then there was a locative in there as well, which is which we will have before, which is, what is it? Be. Bemualtekal. As soon as. Logan makes an excellent point that all is not necessarily an adjective in all languages. It is a quantifier, and it does not necessarily have to pattern with adjectives. That's true. That's true. I think in this case, let's keep it simple with the asterisk that we may want to revise that decision later. Because even in languages where you have a difference in patterning between quantifiers and adjectives, it's still sometimes the case. I forget the stats. I had them, I think, in that other video that I did about or maybe I didn't. No, I didn't go into the within the noun phrase kind of stuff. So I do have some stats for that, actually. I'll have to do another video on that. Cool. Okay, so we have this. Oops, put this in the wrong place. Colin, what's wrong with you? This is as soon as bemualtekal in time for a sneeze. As soon as. It's never going to stop. It's never going to stop doing that. Okay, and then we have the whole sentence. Bemualtekal roban pibrun baburre drudru tuarnes. Ngles, excuse me, vilonasal. All right. And oh, susyut for person. Ooh, I like that. Okay. So what are we going to do for this next one? Well, first hydrate. you ever get that feeling where you could just drink like a whole bottle of water in one gulp because you're that thirsty? There's something just so satisfying about that. Okay, so that's where we are. Okay. So okay, sorry, things are coming in. I'm getting my like what's it called? My multitasking skills are improving, hopefully, or at least they're being put to the test. So Raven points out that the locative is actually the head of the following verb phrase. Interesting. Oh, I like that too. Okay, so something like molte calbe. Cool. That works. Molte calbe. Molte calbe aroban bibrum bawure drudru tuar ngles. Nice. And then our final sentence. At last, fairly overcome with heat, he undressed and bathed in a stream that lay in his path. Okay. So we have our at last already. And how are we? I think we should redo this sentence a bit before we translate it. So let's do that. Go over here and then say something like, at last, he... Now the question is, did we commit to being a topic prominent language? I don't think we committed to that. But I have it, I don't know. I'm being too unduly influenced, I think. At last, he, maybe something like, we could have a kind of, what's the word? I think I'm forgetting the term for this, but it's like a malefactive passive. Kind of like English get, like he got hit. So something that would come from a word like suffer. Passive, something like Raven points out, struck. Excuse me. So strike. By heat. Let's think if I can. Maybe something like this. He I'm blanking on the structure of this. But something like he was struck by heat. Undress. Past. Bathe. Lock. Stream. Rel. Lie. Lock. Path. Something like that. So at last he was struck by heat. Undressed, bathed in the stream which lay in his path. Blech. Okay. Yeah. The thing is, I'm trying to think of where this passive may have come from. So if we think of the grammaticalization pathway, something like he suffered the heat striking him. And then with time, this gets turned into a passive. Specifically a bad passive. Passives are, there are some languages, and I'm blanking on which ones. Maybe some of you in the chat would remember, where there are separate separate passives for sort of good or neutral things and then bad things. English has this to some extent with the get passive. So I got hit by I don't know, moose. I don't know. Could be. It's actually moose are pretty dangerous. So yeah, this I have in mind that this would be one of those languages. Thai. Yeah. Okay. Maybe it's Thai. Maybe Raven is Thai one of these languages that has a separate sort of malefactive passive? At last. Okay, so then pro drop, we don't need this he. So we need this word. Oh, we have at last already, which is last. Oh, I think we were missing something. We were going to put another word on this. We need our superlative marker. We're going to put at the end of bakal to be at last. Let's return to that. Let's just use bakal for now, and we'll return to that. So at last, and then we need this, whatever this passive thing is. And I kind of feel like a bird just hit the window or something. That's weird. Okay. We have a word for heat already, which is toir. We don't have a word for strike, I believe. We don't have a word for undress, but we have a word for remove clothes, so let's just use that. Toirngles. And I promise I will look up how to do those IPA typing things at some point. I'll keep copying and pasting today, but I will look. There's also a chance that I may be switching computers for the stream, and so if I'm on a Mac, it'll be a lot easier for me to do fancy footwork. He take off clothes and then bathe. Be stream lie be located be path. Oops. So the caps ones are the ones we need to come up with roots for. And let's go down to the bottom of this and let's make some. So we need this, we want our malefactive passive. We want our word for strike. We want our word for bathe. I think I forgot la before bathe. And so what I've been doing is just putting the past tense marker on the final verb in the series. I can't give you a well thought out reason for this other than I've seen it before and I think it looks cool. Yeah, which, you know, is perhaps the motivation for a surprising number of things that I do on here. I've seen it before vaguely and I think it looks cool. So one thing I absolutely love about the comment section when these go on to YouTube is that people come up with, you know, much better ideas than I could have. So I am very much appreciative of all of that. Okay, so in the meantime, bathe, we need stream. We need this lie/be located. And we need this path word. Okay, so poke for strike, that's good. I like that a lot. Okay. Ship combo points out correctly that the felt raised sentence is lacking the past tense. So let's get that on there. One by one. Took off clothes. And one day I will make my glosses consistent, but today is not that day. Okay, so poke, strike. Oh, interesting. We're getting a good Thai lesson here. Interesting. Okay. All right. So Thai has a complicated passive system. I don't think we can replicate that level of coolness in this yet, but we'll take some inspiration. L and S for words involving water and washing. Maybe something like maybe in honor of Violet, we can do something like lusu. Oops, lusu for bathe. Or lusul. Actually, yeah, lusul. That's cool. I want to put that L on there because I'm kind of, I don't know, the symmetry, it's cool. All right, so then let's say bathe, lusul. This would also be bath. And then stream, let's do something else with these S's and L's. So something maybe like sidal. And then we need lie and path and the passive. Okay. Nakri for path. Wesel. Let's put wesel for. Oh yes. Okay. Good moment here, because let's take a look at our generated thing again. So basically, in the minor syllable. Okay, let me see if I can find a better way of showing this. In the minor syllable, we can only have the peripheral vowels a, I, u. So we could have we sell, yeah, we sell or wasel, we sell. So we sell to be located, and then stream and could stream and path be related? Well, that's an interesting thought, because our idea for this proto culture is that they are seafarers. So to them, would a stream be a path? I think a stream would be challenging to navigate if we're talking about a stream in the sense of a very shallow body of water. But what about a river? What about something that they could navigate up? I think that would be a cool one. Tekal doesn't fit with the syllable structure. We got to change it to tikal. Good points. Thank you. Keeping me honest here. I love it. Okay, multical. B. Okay, so then what do we have? We have wisel. A wisel. B. Nakri. So why don't we put that polysemy? Why don't we put that polysemy in right now, and say path or stream, or sorry, or path or river. So we would, in the sort of ontology of this culture, we are distinguishing very strongly between navigable bodies of water and unnavigable bodies of water. So that's sidal. So we could say stream, but any non-navigable river. And Nakri is navigable river. And right there, I think we have built in some cool stuff. Okay. And I think we just need one more root for this passive. And let's make this the word suffer. Undergo. And it could be something like, oh, Violet comes in saying a sidal could also be a patch of trail that's impassable. Yes. Trail, maybe obstacle in general. That could work too. So this is another thing I really want to do today, which is to start bringing up the words that are involved in the central metaphors that this language uses. And so I think we've come across one. Ngasir. Okay. I like this. I like this a lot. Apologies for the copying and pasting here. But ngasir. And boom. So that means our final sentence is bakal ngasir tuar pok. Oh, we have both tuars in one sentence. Oh, this is cool. Bakal ngasir tuar pok tuar ngles lalusul besidal awisel be nakri. I can see this kind of getting a rhythm to it. That's kind of nice. All right, so let's put this in bold so we can see it easily. And let's try and get rid of this underline. Okay. So then what we've written today is, get rid of this. Re nom tuarnok lanrit, maltikal be aroban pibrum babure, drudru la tuarngles. Bakal ngasir tuar. Oops, I gotta do the intonation right. So let's put a comma in here. There. Bakal ngasir tuar pok, tuar ngles, la lusul besidala wisel benakri. I'm proud of that. That's fun. Oh, I'm so glad, Violet. That's such a nice thing to hear. I'm glad that that you enjoyed the chance to sort of come in and participate. I enjoy it too. It helps, and it saves me on work of coming up with things too. So it's a win-win. Okay, well, I'm gonna put in a cut here for YouTube, and then why don't we do a few proverbs and work out some of these central kind of areas of metaphor. So back to the big view, and to just say thank you for joining me for this adventure into conlanging and writing fables and grammar and all sorts of fun like that. And if you enjoyed it, like and subscribe, I guess I have to say, right? And we'll see you next time. Okay, and I'll do the slow. Okay, hopefully that'll do it. All right, just gonna do a bit of stretching. Shoulders, legs, hydrate. This is how you stay in the game. All right. No. We're not done. Don't worry. That was just the goodbye for YouTube. I have to put in one because we cut the segments. We are still very much here, and we're going to be doing some more. Okay, so let's see. What do we have? Inferadamus points out, Nok Duan Girak is all hope of victory, but should it not be Duan Girak Nok? Let's just zoom back over here for now. Quickly fix this up. Wind, in the end, give up all hope. I don't know why there's a comma there. Victory. Yeah, you're right. Thank you. Okay, so I'm going to go back. I'm going to do the intro for YouTube. Here's my my request for the chat. If you want, if you have a proverb that you think would be cool to translate into this language, just send it in, and we'll take a few of them, and we'll use that to build up some more core vocabulary and start to pay a lot of attention to these sort of domains of metaphor. Like we've been easing into like this idea of the navigable versus the non-navigable stream, the idea of well, to a lesser extent, we talked about the rays of the sun being like darts. These kinds of metaphors are what we want to start developing to make the language feel really lived in. Okay, back to this. Gonna do the YouTube intro. So, oh hi, I didn't see you walk in there. Welcome. We are about to continue on our journey through our as of yet unnamed analytic conlang, and this time, having just finished translating the North Wind and the Sun, we are now going to translate a bunch of fun fables and start to develop our vocabulary a little bit more. And we're going to concentrate on making sort of large-scale metaphors that run throughout the whole language. So we're going to try and get some really core vocabulary down. So that's what we're going to do. And without further ado, let's just go over to this screen. I know I always have to come up with a new shtick for the intro because it's super boring just to say the same thing every time. So I kind of ad-lib it. Let's make some proverbs. Does anyone have a proverb they'd like translated? Particularly one that fits with the ethos of this, or we don't have an ethos for them yet, but we'll be building one up. Okay, I see some good ones. So don't judge a book by its cover. Okay, I'm gonna have to just. Don't judge a book by its cover. The sea frees all souls. Brilliant. That's going to come in handy. A single grain of rice is enough to tip the scales from defeat to victory. Okay. Why don't we start with those? And I think I need more spots above this. Okay, so don't judge a book by its cover. We have to make a big decision here. Okay, I got a few more and I'm just going to put them in. Ask the experienced rather than the learned. Actions speak louder than words. Make sure you have enough coconuts. All right. Okay, we are going to have... Oh, my goodness. We have got a lot of good ones. Thank you so much. All right. So let's start asking some questions. Violet asks a good one here. What is a book? We have to make some decisions. So the idea behind not judging a book by its cover is that, the appearances of something can be deceiving. However, having books with covers on them that try to tell you about the contents of the book is very culturally specific. And probably I wouldn't say, we haven't made a lot of decisions, but I'm imagining our proto-language is spoken by a pre-modern people, a culture without writing, presumably, because if it's a proto-language, it's reconstructed and not from attested forms. And so if they don't have attested forms, then presumably they don't have any way of attesting forms, such as writing. So I'm thinking we do not have a society with writing. We have to come up with a different way of expressing this concept. Okay. I'm just gonna add in a few more from the chat. We're not gonna get to all of these today, but we will get to all of them eventually, I think. Okay. So, Violet brings up, don't judge a fruit by its peel. Oh, I like that. We can actually do several versions of this proverb too, which we may want to do. But let's try this one. Don't judge a fruit by its peel. So we need to do a little retranslation. Don't judge a fruit by its peel. Okay, so what's going on here grammatically? Now that we've sort of taken the metaphor and put it into something that makes more sense for our proto-culture or whatever we're trying to work with here. Now we have to think about the grammar of it. So we have a negative imperative. Don't. We have this construction, judge something by something. This is kind of interesting. So how are we going to translate that? Because this seems fairly, I don't know. I wouldn't say English specific, but probably standard average European. So we could do something like negative imperative. Whether we want to have a special particle for this, I don't know. We could use our use coverb. So use, peel, judge, fruit. That I think would work. So then I don't think we have anything for this, but we may. So we have a word for clothes. What if appeal and clothes were considered to be sort of in the same sort of thing, right? The clothes of a person are like the peel of a fruit. And so the word for, I believe, ngles, is it? Ngles is our word for clothes. Maybe this also means peel or bark, or hull of a ship, maybe. I don't know. What if we did that? So clothes, peel, bark, outer coating of any kind. So right away we have something, was it nom to use? Yeah, nom, ngles. And then we need something judge, fruit. Okay, I think we can safely have a root for fruit. That seems something fairly important. Skin. But then what's the word for skin? That's a good point. Well, maybe it's something that you wouldn't necessarily always have to distinguish. The context could tell you, like if someone's taking off their ngles, it means that that they're taking off their clothes and not their skin. And then we'd have a special way of disambiguating. Maybe there would be something like second ngles or over ngles or something like that. Or something like something word that meant like civilized, or like, I don't mean civilized, but in the sense of like referring to the sort of in group. Often you'll have a word like that, and maybe like cultured or something like that. So cultured less would be clothes. Oh yeah, we could reduplicate it. That's a good point. We could be like, no. Less. Like the English reduplication. You talk of his skin. Well, not his skin. His skin. Not his skin. His skin. Yeah. Okay. I'm satisfied with that. So basically, if we just sing less, you're left to figure it out for yourself, and then we can disambiguate it with either with ad hoc modifiers, or with something like reduplication, or so let's put in the reduplication as canonical. Yeah, so any other covering of any kind. Okay. So we need now a word for judge, fruit, and the negative imperative. Many languages use a word, it's considered a special morphology for this. Some languages use things like do not or be unwilling to do so. So we could use something like that. Something like not want. Yeah, why don't we do that to start with? So do we have negation? I don't think we do. Neg, not, no. Okay, so we need negation, and we need something like want. Okay, we don't have that, so let's just use a not want negation like Latin has. So we need two of these. All right. Thoughts. Let's go back to our little area where we've got everything. We have to find some things. So we need something for not. Something relatively simple. Maybe something like tar. It could be our negator. something like tar, and then we need something for want. And since these things are going to be said together, we should make something that where they work together really nicely. So something like tar, targa, tarsu, tarnga, maybe su, tarsu. So when you're telling someone not to do something, you say tarsu, blah, 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 blah. That could be good. So let's see what that looks like. So that's a negative imperative. Tarsu nom les, judge fruit. Okay, super. I have to say, I'm having a hard time keeping up with the chat, so I apologize if I have missed something that you said. I'll be sure to kick myself for it later. But I think it's also a good thing because it means that we have such a great, big, lively community here. So, you know, silver lining and everything. Silver less, I guess you could say. Okay, so then we have lots of good stuff here. Okay, so I want to take Moontruther's example but I think tarsre is going to be hard for me to say a lot, and I think we should take sre and put it somewhere else. So let's take another, let's use this for another grammatical morpheme that we're going to come up with soon. Set think. Okay, so then going through fruit, tairun, we can't use tairun as a single morpheme because the minor syllable has to be CV, and so we can use tarun. That would work. So why don't we do that? So tarun. And while we're talking about fruit, a very common polysemy is fruit, outcome, result. So we can use that. And then we have something from Raven saying that judge is going to be bimorphemic. I like that. So set think. So let's use this. Set think, and then judge is going to be these two together. I'm going to do a hydration break. 1 sec. Tay style. All right. Going back in the chat. George West is asking why Google Sheets rather than Excel. That's a good question. I just tend to use the Google Docs and Google Sheets over the Microsoft products. I guess it's a force of habit. I don't know. They seem to work a little bit better on the web than the Microsoft ones do, but I could be wrong about that. I could be on outdated assumptions. Okay, so let's come up with some set think. Oh, sorry. Before I do that, I want to just reply to Zachary. We use the verb suffer for the malefactive. Oops. Don't move that. Suffer for the malefactive passive. It's just up here. Ngasir. Okay. So tarsu, nom ngles. And then we have this bimorphemic thing that has set and think in it. So we need some forms for that. So I'm going to put this up. So you can see, I don't know, this is in, what's it called? Lexifer format. So we can go, Lexifer, and we can just put this in. And get a bunch of fun stuff. So one of these, maybe, although I think there's a mistake in here. Yeah, because we shouldn't be able to have denik or yotap. It should be dinik and yutap. But why not? So I like that. I want something monosyllabic for set and disyllabic for think. I don't know why. It's just something like maybe dos for set and rakit for think. Dos rakit. So dos rakit. Set think. Okay. Lucy, roger that. I will stay online at the end of the stream. We'll have a little post-stream party, and we'll do the chat checks, technical details. Okay, so dos rakit. Let's go back to this, and let's go back to our worksheet. And dos rakit. So do not use the peel to judge the fruit. Did we have fruit? We do tarun. So here is our proverb. Tarsu nom les dos rakit tarun. That's kind of cool. That's kind of cool. I'm going to stop for a second to catch up on the chat. Okay. So if I've made something and I see the chat afterwards, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take that form and I'm going to leave it as one of our, as one of our next things to fill. So that's because unfortunately, there's a bit of a lag. So by the time I've come up with something and then I see the chat. So anyway, yeah. So there's been some cool discussion in the comments section about doing a series on a posteriori conlangs. So essentially to take a natural language and then to derive a sort of alternate history language from that. So the classic example of these is the so-called romlangs, where people make Romance languages up. So it's fairly easy to find forms, Latin or spoken Latin forms that you can use to derive new Romance languages, and that's great fun. And I've definitely done that a few times. So we could do something like that. The other thing, George points out we could do a Slavic language. I don't know as much about Slavic languages, so that there would be some research. Not that I have any problem with that. That's kind of my thing. There's also the potential of doing a Germanic language, which I do know a little bit more about the history of that family. So, yeah. And then we could also do. Oh, I'm gonna go to the full screen because I feel like just no distractions when we talk about this kind of stuff. We could also do mashups, which are really fun. So basically, you take one language family. So say you're making a Romance language, and then you try to make a descendant of those languages that resembles a completely different language. So you could do something like, I think the classic example of this has been the Celtic Romance languages that have been done by people whose names I don't remember, but they're really great conlangers back in the early days. Brachanach and Brethanic, and I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing the second one in particular correctly, but these are essentially Latin with Welsh or Irish sound changes applied to them, and so that you get a Romance language that looks like modern Irish or modern Welsh. There are, of course, all these sorts of other ones. I've even made a sort of like Mandarin influenced Romance language. So I think it was called something like Mansheng, where that came from like Romana lingua through a bunch of malarkey that I do not remember and probably wasn't based in much of anything. But that was kind of fun. And yeah, so that's something that we could definitely do. I don't know. I'm into it. I'll just say that we'll have to plan that out though to do it properly. Okay. Okay. So back. I'm gonna go back. I'm just gonna look at these things. Kosli would not fit the structure. That's true, actually, but kosli would. So let's scoot back and kosli. That would work. All right, let's do another. Proverb, shall we? The sea frees all souls. So something like, and here we have another. Proverbs are great because you end up doing a lot of cultural work. You get to see the assumptions that are at play. So souls, that's not something that this concept is not something that's going to be universal. The idea that there's a sort of a bifurcation between one's body and one's soul is definitely, it's perhaps widespread, but it cashes out differently in different times and places. And so especially the idea that there's a soul that's kind of trapped and could be freed, that I think is building in a lot. So how are we going to reconstruct this? And Raven knows the language better than I do. So kusli, yes, good. Well done. You deserve you deserve some sort of a crown or something. Okay. Yeah. So maybe we're talking about a culture that is animist, in which there are souls in various things, and maybe some of them are less free than others, and then the sea does something that can free them. I'm kind of thinking of that. Isn't there a Leonard Cohen line? Something about the sea freeing them. I don't know. The old things that you hear on record players when you're a kid. Anyway, I remember you weren't allowed to. This is my only recollection of that era, is that you weren't allowed to dance around while the record player was on because it would skip. I remember always getting yelled at for that. Things would come on and then I'd start, as a little kid, just started dancing around, and then stop dancing. The Raffi record won't play properly. So okay, well we can do at least this. Sea free soul all. And then we're going to put a big asterisk on soul as to whether this is the translation that we want. Soul, spirit, maybe even life would be a better translation. I'm not sure. Okay. I'm really liking this. I'm really liking this idea of the sneeze being related to soul. So what do we have for sneeze? Tikal. What if there's some tantalizing hints of earlier stages of the language where there was perhaps some derivational morphology going on in these minor syllables, which are no longer productive, but in some cases you can see instances of them. So maybe we have something like kal being soul, spirit, life. Yeah. And then tikal has some relation to that, but we don't know what it is. And we have to figure it out. Breath is also a very common thing, especially, look at the word for spirit. It's not an accident that there's that SPIR in there, as in respiration. So we have something like this: breath, soul, spirit, life. So let's do it. So we need C. Do we have the C? We don't have the C? We gotta get the C. C. I don't think we have free, but we have kal and we have nok. I think it is nok all. Yes, nok. Oh, and all and hope are homophonous. Oh, okay, it's fine. We're gonna leave it. Okay, so we need the C, freeze also. So we need something for the C and something for free. And I don't know if we want free to be morphologically simple. Sometimes that isn't. Okay, we've got some really good ideas coming here. Really good convolving ideas. The plans are underway to start to do some more in-depth convolving for this. Some world building, some fun stuff. Can we have Kusli as C? Yes. I promised that I would use these, so we will use them. And I really like that word for C. And as Violet said, we have this kind of phonesthetic thing where S's and L's are referring to water. And I really think that this sneezing and breath and moment, this kind of complex of concepts is kind of a cool one that we're going to be able to come back to again and again and to play with. So I'm excited about that. Similarly, we have this stream. We have this kind of complex where navigation through water plays a central role in the metaphorical lives of this culture. So we have things like obstacles being referred to as streams, not because you can't walk across them on land, but because you can't sail down them. We also have a similar one. Where is it? Mot, which means ship or boat or house. And this is coming from a time when perhaps certain people lived on, for a lack of a better term, houseboats. So that's kind of cool too. Okay. So freedom. Yeah, okay. So instead of having a simple verb free, we could have something like release to freedom. And then we're still, of course, stuck with the question of what to do with free, but I like that. So release. And this release could be something that shows up in a lot of compounds. I like that a lot. So release and then to. We don't have anything for to yet. I'd like to have a verb go to. Please don't do that, Google. Go to. Maybe sre could be go to. That's a very central verb. I think we should use a form like sre there. Freedom could be the ocean. I really like that idea. Okay, so instead of release, we could use, taking Sparsha's idea here, some sort of a cause. So make go to freedom. I like that. So let's come up with some sort of a cause. Morpheme. Let's go back to our generated stuff here. Do we have anything that looks causey? It's always a question, like, how do you know what looks causey? But sometimes you do. Maybe something like tam. Tam sre. And then free. Yeah, there has to be a difference between something being free and setting something free. Well, I mean, there doesn't have to be, but in this case, I think there will be, because we're going to have this, instead of saying free, as a verb, I free you, it would be cause to go free, where to go is interpreted as cause to go to freedom. Sorry, go to. In other words, to free. So it's going to be a more complicated structure. So it'll be something like sre, tam sre, and then we need a word for freedom still. I like this idea of the ocean being related to freedom, but I agree that we having like the ocean send you to the ocean, it ends up being a bit off. but maybe there's something, maybe we have another one of these. I think Logan called it, I think I saw it come up, taxidermy. What was the phrase? Taxidermied morphology. That's a great coinage. I like that. So maybe it's something like sli. And we're left to wonder, what's the relationship between sli, free, and kusli, sea? With the idea that the sea is a place of free navigation. I guess that's not true. I'm not a sailor, but more free than a river, I suppose. I'm just showing my utter ignorance about all things nautical. So this is a good opportunity to learn. All right, so then here we would have something like tamsresli. So kusli, tamsresli kalnok. Cause go to... it's always going to do that. I'm never going to be able to stop it. Okay. All right. So it seems that we have a lot of resonances with the historical Polynesian cultures, which I'm quite ignorant about. So if anyone can recommend a book that is a good overview of that history, I would be all eyes or all ears or whatever the case may be for a book. So whether that's in the chat now or later on YouTube, if you're seeing the comments and there's something that you can recommend, something maybe anthropological or historical to read about the I don't even know what the way to refer to it would be, but the expansion of Polynesian languages and that sort of historical context that led to that would be very cool. So yes, and podcast recommendations are absolutely fair game. I would love, that's a great idea. I'm all ears. Yeah, perhaps they're using rafts. Perhaps they're using something like canoes. I don't know. Okay, Lucy's telling me I should advertise the Discord challenge. So if you're watching this and you are the kind of person who likes coming up with, I'll just go to who likes coming up with related language families, we're doing a fun thing coming up at the end of this month, which is March 2022, and April, where we have two teams, each of which is creating a language family. And then what's going to happen is they will give the descendant languages, a set of cognates in these descendant languages, to me to work out the proto-language on stream live along with the other team. And then we'll take turns and we'll swap. So in both cases, I'm going to be the one in the hot seat, sweating bullets, trying to figure out the reconstruction, but I'll be helped by the other team if they're available at the time of the stream. So that's coming up, and that's going to be fun. And Discord is back now, so you can go on the Discord, which I believe is in the description. There should be a link, and you can join. And we have actually, I'm proud to say, like a very active community on there now, talking about all sorts of linguistic, language, conlangs, linguistics, ancient languages, modern languages, all sorts of fun stuff on there, world building kinds of things. And so if you're interested in that, go on the Discord and ask Lucy, and she will get you set up. So that is fun. And there's, okay, Zachary, that's you. Excellent. You've already got 2 branches. Oh, hard at work. Much appreciated. I can't wait. So I'll return now to our task at hand. Okay, so a single grain of rice is enough to tip the scales from defeat to victory. All right, so we have some work to do here. And so I can identify the one thing that I think we're going to have to consider, which is, well, 2 things. One, does this Does this culture cultivate rice? Let's say for the sake of argument they do. So we need something like 1 grain rice enough, or is enough, some sort of verb that means enough. And then we have this phrase to tip the scales. And this is, I think, where we're going to have to make a change. Because what's a scale? Yes, as you point out, do they have scales? Perhaps not. So what can we do? How can we rewrite this in a different, perhaps more literal way, or in a metaphor that makes sense for this language? So what is happening when we tip the scales from defeat to victory? We're avoiding defeat and attaining victory. We are maybe we can do it like that, just simple, fairly literal. Or maybe, rice 1 grain, head initial. Okay, all right. Well, that's assuming that the rice is the head, right? That would be kind of like a numeral classifier situation. But if it's literally 1 grain, genitive rice, then it would be the other way around, wouldn't it? Nevertheless, I like this better. Rice 1 grain is enough. And this also lets us interpret it as topic comment. As for rice, 1 grain is enough. So I like that. Okay, so I really like this. I really like... Okay, so stuff's going by. I feel like the guy in the Matrix where it's just... Okay, so the heading of the boat. I'm going to pick up on this one. So 1 grain of rice... So this maybe mixes the metaphors a bit, but we'll come back to it. Is enough to turn the boat from defeat to victory. And then I think we might want to change it from a grain of rice, because I love this metaphor. So what if it's a gust of wind, a single gust of wind? So wind 1 gust. Turn away from storm to safety. Maybe something like that. Or to harbor. Okay. And we have a lot of these words already. This is kind of cool. Because we have... Where is our word for wind? We just talked about the north wind. Pana. We have a numeral 1, dru. I think we even have a word for gust, which is huhu, a blow or a blast. We need something for enough. Do we have something for turn? I don't think we have anything for turn yet, so we'll need something like that. I believe mot is our word for boat. And we don't have a word for from, I think, but we do have a word for storm, which also means power. And we have a verb for, oops, don't delete things, to go to, which is our to. And then we need something for harbor. So we have 4 words to do. Enough, turn, from, harbor. And from is a verb. So to go from. So then Raven points out that there's in Thai there's a particle or a preposition for in order to. Yeah, maybe we can make this we could take a page from, say, Mandarin and use a verb like to come for that. If I'm interpreting Mandarin correctly, it's a bit but my lower intermediate brain is the gears are turning and trying to remember things. But I think, let me just I'm going to take a brief moment and look up. Hold on, I have to make sure I don't show this on the screen because I don't want anyone to get angry at me. I'm going to look up my grammaticalization book. And in order to okay, purpose. So purpose is going to be able to come from, to come to give, to go to. We can use our verb to go to. That works. Okay, let's just use that. Sre. And I mean, this is what English has as well in a way, isn't it? To. So, back to this. But we are right. We need a sre here. It's made it into a link again. I'm sorry. It always does this. There we go. Okay. So we need something like Meme Mistake points out that we could the verb that is meaning suffice could be related to fullness or wholeness. So unfortunately I think this will just full. I don't think we have anything for that. So let's say full, whole, suffice. And then we need something like that. So maybe this is also related to the verb to fill, to make full or whole. And maybe it's also related to the verb to heal, to make something whole again, right? So that would work. We just need a form for it. So let's go back to our list of forms. It's just what do we have here? Maybe we could use something like barus. I kind of like that. Barus. And then we need something for turn, enough, from, and harbor. So let's go for, so this is enough. So we don't need that anymore. I'll fix this up and make it a bit nicer later. But barus, we need something for harbor. And, harbor could also metaphorically mean safety. I think that's a pretty safe polysemy. One thing that we've been doing so far, for the most part in this language, is that we've been keeping these, keeping words like to be full and to fill exactly the same morphologically. So we have this this alternation in English where some of our verbs, look at the example of rise and raise. So you have this kind of causative alternation where something is going up, it rises. If you're making something going up, it raises. You raise it. And so what I've been doing so far with this is just leaving that morphology unmarked. And so in that case, for something to be full and to make something full, fulfill in English, but it would be the same morphology in this proto-language. So let's get das lor in here for harbor. That's nice. And yusu. Indeed, this is ambitransitivity. And yusu maybe can be turn. And then to go from, that's like something nice and short, maybe something like ra. Okay, so yusu. So let's just go back to our thing here, and we have the ability to say parus, sre, yusu, mot, ra, ngisun, sre, taslor. Boom. Okay, Logan has a good point here. So the alternation is normally the causative inchoative alternation. So to become full rather than to be full, if they can be used as verbs without derivation. Okay, that's a good point. So maybe we can have this become full, fill, become full. Yeah. I'll have to think about that a bit. I think that's going to be, that may have some ripples. So I'm gonna double check that and not think at the blackboard. I'll put a little note here. Sorry, you can't read that, but I'm just writing a little note to myself to look into what Logan mentions, because I think that's an interesting area to investigate. Okay. Yeah, maybe they do live in an archipelago. We're going to do some maps at some point. It's going to be fun. I didn't say anything. Okay. So I think, what should we do? What should we do now? We have, let's do one more. Let's do one more, and then we'll stop, and we will go, and I'll stay on for a little bit to mess with the chat settings with Lucy. So you're welcome to stick around for that. I think, right, Lucy? That's fine. Maybe it would actually help. I don't know. Okay, so ask the experienced rather than the learned. Okay. So what's going on here? So we have been using this kind of, these constructions like, instead of powerful, we use one who has power. So the ahu ngisun, one who has power or who has power. So I think we're going to want to use something like that for the experienced, the learned. So something like have experience, have learning. So how can we start this? So ask, we don't have, we could have an explicitly marked imperative form, but maybe we will, maybe we won't. Let's just say we won't for now, and we can add that later. Ask the one who has experience rather than. Maybe something like, well, we could use the etymology of the English word rather than, which comes from an Old English word meaning fast. So rather is actually faster. So if you are asking, if you're doing something rather than something else, you would be faster to do thing A than thing B. So maybe we can do something like quick, and then our comparative, which comes from the word for cross, to cross. And then we do rel, have learning. So we have some of these things. Oh, cool. Okay, Logan just pointed out some really cool cross-linguistic facts about languages that have this alternation where attributives are interpreted statively, and inchoatives are predicates are, how did I start that sentence? Predicates are interpreted inchoatively. That's cool. Okay, so ask who experience quick And I don't know if we want this this clause to be after. I have to think about that for a second. Que. So let's just do our usual thing here. Experience. Ask. Quick. Que. Who. Learning. Okay. Okay. My focus is drifting a bit. Just narrow that, put the blinders on, and let's finish this. So do we want this clause here? Actually, not really a clause, but ask one who has experience. I don't think this should go here. Where's it going to go? Maybe something like I'm stumped. What's the grammar going to be? Chat, help me. We have this sentence which literally means ask one who has experience more quickly, or quickly crossing one who has learning. Yeah, I hear you, Raven. Well, maybe what we should do is we should leave this as an exercise, a homework exercise for myself. Let's consider this word order as a tentative one. We can leave it as is. Let's finish up by just giving our creating our word shapes, and then we'll call it a day. And then I think we should all be very proud of ourselves today. We've done very good work. Okay, so we need something like experience. We need something like ask, quick, and learning. And we're going to have to do some complications. You know, what is experience? What is learning? But we can do that later. There is no dummy subject. This is a pro-drop language or a null subject language, so we don't need that. Yeah, something like take priority over. So instead of quick, maybe it's something like take priority over. Yeah, I think my brain is running out of fuel to contemplate these heady matters. So let's put a pin in that for now, and let's get some word shapes here, and then we'll all go to a very well-deserved relaxation, or at least I will. I hope you will too. So ask something maybe like treu. I like that, treu. I think quick should be relatively kiki, as opposed to booba. And if you don't know what those are, Google that. We're not going to get to the coconuts today, sadly. But don't worry, we will return to this. We've got a lot of work to do, a lot of work up in front of us. And I'm going to stay on this proto-language for a while this time, and I won't just flit around to descendant languages too quickly. He says today, but you know. Okay, so let's. I think we've used pui already, actually. Maybe pli. Yon for quick. All right, I'm in. Yon. And learning could be something like, did we use daram already? I like that. Daram. And then experience. Experience is the one that I'm kind of iffy on because that seems a bit derived. Maybe we could say, instead of have experience, we could say something like who has seen much. And so do we have a word for much? Okay, tap is coming in from the chat. So much, we don't have. Seen much, having done much. Yeah, this kind of thing. Having many deeds. So we'd have something like who, and then many could be this word. Oh no, what was I going to do? Tap. Much, many. And to have experience is to have deeds many. So what was our word to do? Sra. Hu sra tap. To have many deeds. To have done many deeds is how we'd interpret it, I guess. Experience. Fine. So ask who sratap. Yon. Kwe ahu daram. And maybe we could do something like daram tap, much learning. And so in this case, we would say deed much. And then we just have to put our ask in here, treu. So our third proverb comes out to something like treu ahu sratap yon kwe ahu daram tap. I like it. We're going to have to revisit the grammar because my brain is just sort of starting to... Okay, one more thing. Okay, before my brain shuts off altogether. I like this. So instead of saying someone who's learned, so instead of using learning, maybe this is the word to hear. Hear, learn. Yeah. So and here we have almost like this interesting kind of perfect emerging in the same way as English or the Romance languages. One who has do much. One who over one who has heard much. I don't know if we're going to keep that. We may want to change that. That might be a little too close to home, but for now, I think we can keep it. I really love this parallelism. So this is a great thing in a proverb. Trewahu sratap, yon kweahu daramtap. So you have this nice structure. I like that. Okay. All right. That's it. That's it for me. I'm going to go back here and I'm going to say thank you to all of you for joining. So I'll say goodbye to the people who are viewing on YouTube in the future. Thank you again so much. If you do like this sort of vibe, I mean, if you've watched by now, you might as well just subscribe because, you know, you're already committed. You've already bought into all the sort of bouncing back and forth and the mistakes on Google Sheets and everything. So yeah, you might as well just subscribe. Otherwise, we will see you next time. And then I'll do this. I did this for the last one, so I'll do it again for this one. Okay. Now, chat, thank you a billion, a trillion. I think we actually made a record for number of people on stream today. So thank you so much. Thank you so much for making this such a fun part of my life. It's one of the highlights of my week to come and be able to share this stuff with you. And yeah, it's truly a joy. If you're not on the Discord, we have a very similar vibe going on there. So please do feel free to join us. And we've got all the cool, fun competition that we talked about earlier. Otherwise, I think Lucy and I are going to mess around with the settings on here, but we have to be live to do it. So you're free to stick around. We're going to be, fiddling with things, but hopefully we'll be entertaining slightly as we do it. But I won't hold it against you if you head off now. So thanks again. And Lucy, let's get to work. What do we need to do? Yeah, someone get out the fiddle. We're gonna be fiddling. Okay. Sending a screenshot of the Streamlabs chat window right away. How's everyone else doing today? Anything interesting going on in your lives? Is the weather changing where you are? It was, not ridiculously warm, but it was warm here. And I don't know, for those of you who don't know, I live in Southern Ontario, sort of Toronto area. And we've had a very snowy winter. And this past weekend, the temperature went up like 20 degrees overnight to 16. And it was beautiful. And I walked around. And it was a joy to behold. Please do keep messaging because then we'll see what the chat looks like and we'll optimize the look of it. Things they never teach you when you're contemplating streaming is how many sort of fiddly bits and things that can go wrong. But yeah, it's true. Okay. Yeah, good luck. I'm here for a good time. Good luck on the test. What? The classic Colin Boomer moment. No, there's no but. You love Colin, no but. It's true. I have like the areas which I know what to do, and then outside those areas, it's just I'm like totally helpless. Click on the multi-stream chat. Okay. Okay. Clicked on the multi-stream tab at the top of chat. Okay, it says hello from Twitch on there. But I don't see any of the YouTube people on the multi-stream. Oh, now I do. Oh, cool. How difficult? I would say make it so that I'm not guaranteed to succeed. And remember, I'll have the help of the other team. But also that I'm not guaranteed to fail. So I think a little bit of suspense. We're going to try and do it in one full stream, so 2 hours. So I don't know. I think I gave some like numbers about how many cognates and how many languages. But if you want to make things fun, no, I know. The protocol to Linguistics sound changes are really intense. There are a lot of sound changes. But I just love that name, Linguistics. I think anything that came up with the name Linguistics is just, it can't be wrong. Okay, so. Yeah, Lucy, the whole time, apparently I've been on the wrong tab. It's fine. It's fine. Those who are going to watch this, the real dedicated people who watch the end of the stream are going to understand what Lucy's pain is. Oh yeah, that's true. Once Upon a Time does have some really cool, like that kind of, we can't even really translate it literally. It's this sort of formulaic folktale beginning. Like in Irish, it's fado fado, which is something like a long time ago, a long time ago. Um, yeah, those are really cool. We should. Oh, there's something else. Okay, I'll just put this down on pixels and on sound waves. Um, I really want to do Conlang meter because different languages have different kinds of poetic traditions with different, which pay attention to different aspects of language. Um, if we think of like Old English alliterative verse versus more versus modern English where we use rhyme a lot more. There's some fun stuff to be done with this, and I think a lot of people want to write songs and poetry and conlangs, but I haven't seen any resources out on different types of meters. So maybe we could do that as well. I think that would be fun. Okay, so Lucy, has that cleared up a mystery for you? I can't even get out the sentence as to why I couldn't see things. Because yeah, I think what the problem was is what I was on the YouTube tab the whole time. I didn't even see that there was a multi-stream tab though. In fairness to me, and we do have to be fair to me, hopefully. Oh, I can't even zonde it anymore. My water's gone. Lucy, I don't love to take up that. We don't need to point fingers or name names or point fingers or name names. All right. So did you want to do something else, Lucy, with the visuals of the chat, or are we good? I think we're good. I'm glad Discord's apparently back up now. It's in the middle of something, middle of conversations, then suddenly just all goes red. And it's like, wait, what? Okay. Hanul Yolme. Hello. I'm sorry, we are just coming to the end of our stream. Thank you so much for joining us, but it's slightly towards the end. We're just sort of wrapping everything up and doing some technical fixes, but thank you very much for joining us. So I think I will head off now. Logan, thank you. Hengeveld rather than Haspelmath. If Logan, you're on Twitter, right, Logan? If you come up with it, or if I come up with it, the paper, let's one of us send it to the other, or at least the citation. I think I have you on there. I could be wrong. If not, it's a grave injustice. Yes. Okay. Good. Excellent. So if you come up with the citation, let me know, and vice versa. Cool. Thank you so much, everyone. I'm going to head off now. Thank you, Lucy, for all the technical support, and we'll see you in the comments. We'll see you on Discord, and we will see you on Thursday. So at least one of those three things. All right. See you next time. Bye, everyone.